And now I'll say good morning and welcome everyone to the monthly volunteer training for the Recovery Cafe. Today's topic is listening in the time of trauma. We've invited Dr. Linda Little to facilitate our training today. And what we're going to first do is just kind of ground us in what volunteer trainings are, and then like a super brief introduction. So Linda has a sense of who's in the space and you guys can all get to know each other a little bit better. So what I'll say is the purpose of our volunteer trainings are, there's a few reasons we do this. One is to try to build recovery community. We all know that it's really difficult to do that at a distance. So I feel the more times that we have spent together where we get to see each other's faces, hear each other's stories, it does build real connections. And I think that we can honor that in this space here. So that's the first purpose, is to build recovery community. The second is to develop and practice skills that can support our own recovery and the recovery of other people. And then the third is to introduce us to practitioners in the field locally, so that, well, we can hopefully benefit from their expertise, but also it helps us know if we encounter somebody or if we find we need services ourselves even later on, we have some folks that we know, we've gotten to know them a little bit, and we can make that referral or make that phone call without fear of kind of the unknown. So again, my name is Brian. I'm the program manager here, and I'm grateful for you all to attend today. This is what I'd like to do. I want to have Linda, because I don't think I can do an introduction for her justice. So if you don't mind, Linda, if you'd start and introduce yourself in whatever way you'd like to, and then I'll facilitate the rest of the introductions.
I'm a Port Townsendite since 2003. I went back to work as a psychologist in 2015. Before then, I've done a whole lot of stuff. I'm old. You have my resume. I've directed a graduate program in marriage and family therapy at Virginia Tech. I've done a whole bunch of stuff with trauma. I worked my little company, and I intervened in 350 critical incidents in 1 year with federal law enforcement. This means working with the families after Ruby Ridge, if you guys remember Ruby Ridge, after the Oklahoma City bombing. I debriefed all the US Marshals, the Capitol Police, the DC Police, all of the on-site marshals after 9/11. So I have a whole lot of experience with trauma, and I'm so glad to be working on a local level and not a national level. I'm glad to be here in PT. There we are.
Yeah, thank you so much. So to do introductions, I'm going to first list off 3 names in a row of people who have their cameras on. And for those who don't, I'm going to give you the opportunity at the end of that. If you would like to say something, you can. So let's do Shirley first. We'll do Shirley, Susanna, then Kat. And just 30 seconds, real brief. All we want to hear is your name and what interested you in taking this training.
Thank you, Brian. My name is Shirley, and I'm very glad to be here. I've been in recovery for about 40 years. I'm also old, and
Yay!
Yay, let's hear it for age.
Yeah.
Anyway, every once in a while I still say, like, why do I have to do this again? Why do I have to do this again? Why is this coming up again? And so with the Recovery Cafe, and I moved to Paulsbo, so it's going to have a couple of incidents. I'm sure I don't drive anymore. And I'm looking forward to convincing people and letting people drive me from Paulsbo to
Good.
Townsend.
Hey, Shirley.
Soon, yes.
one thing for you. We experience it, and every time we have a chance to go deeper and higher.
Yeah.
Deeper into ourselves and higher into finding inspiration from our higher power,
Yeah.
from other people. So deeper and higher, that's your task this stage.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, even when it hurts.
Yeah.
I love it. And I so appreciate all that I
Susanna.
dig out, and I get better at digging it out too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So thank you.
Thank
I'm glad
you.
to be here.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm very glad to be here and good to meet you, Linda,
Thank you.
and Shirley, everybody. This is great. I am experiencing trauma in that I am helping somebody get out of jail and
Yes.
dealing with that. And
Yes.
I've been in healthcare for 35 years, in hospice care mostly. And I'm very much of an environmentalist, and it's traumatic for me to see people disregarding the health of our environment. So
There's so many traumas.
yes,
So many traumas. And, you know, we could just pick that one. That's a global trauma. That is something we all are experiencing. Some of us are ignoring, denying the stages of grief we'll go through. But yes, good for you. Yes.
Thanks, Susanna.
Kat?
Hi, everybody. I'm Kat. It's good to see you faces I haven't seen here before, and I'm really happy about that. I'm from Port Townsend. I was on the advisory board of the cafe, and I just want to be a worker among workers and volunteer. And listening skills is a huge importance to the cafe, to not only listen to what people are saying, but what's behind what they're saying. And I make a suggestion that we're not going to get through this if we don't hurry our introductions. I hate to
Okay.
be that way, but
Yeah,
I really
there we
want to
go.
get into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. So we'll do John, Kathy, then Lynn.
Okay. John.
Okay. Hi, I'm John Hamilton, and I've been taking most of the courses through Dove House. But what interests me in this training the most is that I was an abused child, and I also have combat veteran post-traumatic stress disorder from Vietnam. And that was like 53 years ago I was there. And, you know, I've done a couple of major things in my life. One is I broke the alcoholic problem in the family. I did not carry forward. Second, I also broke the child abuse issue within the family. So those are two big things that I did do with my life growing up, dealing with those issues as I went along, and I'm still working on things like that.
Well, this is going to be a good session. So I'm glad you're here, John. Kathy?
Good morning. I'm Kathy Busick, and I live in Port Townsend. And I guess the main reason I'm here today is to get a refresher course on listening, which is,
good.
You know,
good.
One of my weak points. And I've worked with a lot of people in recovery. I'm in recovery myself. And so anything I can do to help the community is why I'm here. Thanks.
So what we're going to be focusing on today is listening to ourselves. Put your seatbelt on first, put your air mask on first. This is what we're doing. Lynn.
Thank you, Linda. This is my first training session, and I'm new at the Dove House, and I just am extremely interested in anything that you have to offer, and listening, yeah, that would be a good thing.
Okay,
and
let's do it.
I live in Chimacum, so, but I'll still be
close
working.
By.
Yeah, close by. I like it. Thank you, Linda.
Yeah. Carol? Oops.
Hi, Linda. Thanks for being with us. I could talk endlessly. Thank you for your work with terrorism. I've had some experience with that with kids, and but we have to be ready. And there's so many kids now. That did bring up the fact that our
Another kids.
without having been at school and with a future that's so different from what we faced as kids.
Yes.
I hope we can learn to listen to kids too. I hadn't thought about that until you brought it up. You brought it from me. Thank you.
Yes. Steve.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Steve Goddard. I am a grateful recovering addict myself, and I'm
Oh, can't hear you.
You went out.
do you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I'm a grateful recovering addict, and I'm very passionate about recovery, and I want to do I want to help the community as much as I can.
Good for you.
Help people who are out there still suffering. Thank you, Linda.
Good. Denise?
I'm Denise Banker, and I'm the Community Prevention and Wellness Initiative Program Coordinator for Jefferson County Public Health. And I previously volunteered at Recovery Cafe, taught English, Lit, and creative writing for a group of folks in Seattle, and also was a minister of presence. So I'm here to continue that sort of mission.
Perfect.
Thank
Lisa?
I lived here for many years and went away for many years and came back 2 years ago after losing my home in the campfire in California. So healing from
Yeah,
a little PTSD from that.
you bet.
But I grew up around a lot of alcohol and drugs, and worked a lot in hospice. So I just want to learn to be a better support system and help the folks that need it, be a support system for myself and for the ones I love and people I've yet to meet.
Good.
So, gathering tools.
Jill?
Hi there, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, I took the training a year ago, and I'm impatiently waiting for the Recovery Cafe to open.
I bet.
I just, yeah, it's another tool. I feel like I'm a pretty good listener, but any more tools are welcome. Thank you, Brian.
Good.
Thank you, Linda.
Holly?
I'm a long-time Port Townsend resident, and I used Dove House's services several years back, and I'm here to pay my debt, and also 8 years in recovery. So I'm very interested in your program.
Good. And I hope you pay your debt to you at the end of this. Okay.
Thank you so
Lynn.
much. We had Lynn go. We do have 3 people who don't have their cameras on, so I want to give you the opportunity now if you'd like to introduce yourself. You could.
Oh, wait, there's Lynn. We still have Lynn.
Yep, we had Lynn go. So we had.
Okay, sorry.
Yep, it's okay. We've got 3 other people, so let's just have silence for a few seconds in case they jump in.
Oh.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Lufkin. I live here in Port Ludlow. I've been volunteering with NAMI and Behavioral Court over in Kitsap County, and I would like to do some volunteer work here in Jefferson County, and I'm so happy to be here for the training.
Good. Thank you.
I see one person now on their phone. If you'd like to chime in real quick.
I'm Barbara Testing. I have been a supporter of Recovery Cafe since it opened. I probably don't have time to volunteer right now, but I'm here because I've got a son who's an addict for the past 11 years, and I'm trying to learn how to work with him and hopefully have some success and hopefully have time in the future to volunteer with recovery.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And one last person, if you'd like to.
Hi, I'm here to learn more about listening, and I love the concept of listening to myself. Yeah, done a lot of inner child stuff, and so I frequently ask that inner babe what she needs, and the idea of processing and releasing emotions is very appealing. Thank you.
It's always good to have an adult in the room, isn't it? Somebody who's going to take care of that little girl. It's always good to have an adult in the room.
Lovely. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
So Linda, we'll let you take it away.
Wonderful. So what I'm thinking and what I prepared today is that I'm going to give you tools that you can use with your volunteers. And we're going to use them with ourselves so that you have an experiential understanding of the tools that I'm giving you. So the first tool, you know the pain scale from, you go to the doctor's office, 0 pain, 10 pain. 0 is, I don't hurt any place, I feel great, let's dance all night, everything's wonderful. And 10 is you're on a ventilator, or you're saying goodbye. You know, you've accepted, or you're not accepted, but you're out the door. You're out of here. So the emotional well-being scale is different. The stress accumulation scale is what we're going to look at. We're going to look at, and I want you to, when you are at 0 pain, emotionally, psychologically, and if you have papers and pens close by, because you are going to need to be filling some stuff out, 0 pain is a time of abundance. 0 pain is there's no stress in my life. Life is beautiful. I'm in touch with my senses. These are our goals. I'm in touch with my senses. I am not lost in the chatter of my head. Do you know what I mean? I'm not lost in the chatter of my head. I feel joy and I feel sadness. I respond to the environment. I respond to what I'm experiencing. I let go of insults and injuries and feel compassion. This is if we're at 0, okay? No stress, nothing's happened. We're a baby, we're just born, Brian, and we're in the care of other, you know, we feel engulfed in care, or we don't, and we learn early that there's nobody there for us. There's nobody there when we need something. So 10 is I am a victim. I don't see any way out. I'm desperate. I don't see any way to go. So those are the extremes. And emotionally, we kind of all are all or nothing people. But there are degrees in this. If our stress level is a 5, not a 10, then we have normal stresses, but we have the resources that we need to deal with them. Maybe my kid broke his arm, and that's okay. We have Medicare, or we have our own insurance. We have the money to pay for what we need. We're covered. If you go to a 7 on the scale, emotional well-being, or the stress, your level of stress, you're at a place where you're saying it, I'm losing it sometimes. I'm going as fast as I can. I don't know how to go much faster than I can go. I'm going from one thing to another thing to another thing. I don't withdraw. Or the other thing, I'm so withdrawn, I can't get off the couch sometimes. I'm just sitting here. I'm sitting here and I'm pretty miserable and I don't want to do anything. But 7 is, I might be drinking a little bit more than I used to. Or I'm not exercising. I'm not eating right. My sleeping's disturbed. 7 is when I start to see stress pile up. And I didn't handle this, and I didn't handle that, and I didn't handle that well, and I was kind of sassy to my friend. You know, I didn't feel like I was in control. But 10, when you get to 10, this is, you got to help me, somebody. You've experienced that with addictions, if you've had addictions. You've experienced that. I don't know if you've experienced that in the past month. I felt that way in the last month. I felt like, oh my God, I got to call somebody and just talk. Just talk about what's going on with me. So I'm going to give you 5 times in your life, and I'm going to ask you to rate yourself on this stress test that I just gave you, from 0 to 5 to 7 to 10, so that you know the range that I'm talking about. And I want you to go back in time to December 2015. Where were you? What was your stress level? What do you remember about? Oh, I see people checking out their visions, or what do you remember about 2015, December? Just off the top of your head, give yourself a 0, give yourself a 4, a 3, you know what the scale is. Okay, what about, do you have that? Let me ask. Everybody got it? Okay, so December 2019, you've never heard of coronavirus. I don't know what was going on in your life personally, but just put down a number, just so you know. March 2020, you just heard about the coronavirus. I was in Southern California on a vacation, and I thought, I can't wait to get home. My husband was saying, this is probably going to be really bad, and I'm denying. Do you all know the stages of grief? Denial, anger. A coronavirus? Really? Corona? What is that? Okay, bargaining. Okay, I'll put a mask on. I'll put a mask on if you tell me I need to put a mask on. I need to stay 6 feet, or I say, I'm not gonna put a mask on. I'm not gonna do it. I'll bargain, you know, bargaining. I can live with this coronavirus if. Sadness. Sadness, so much sadness, so much sadness, and acceptance. We got to go through those emotions. And when we're experiencing these, one trauma here, the school, one trauma here, not the school, but I can't go to the doctor. We go back to Texas. How am I going to boil water? I can't boil water. Everything's frozen. So do you see grief and how grief is involved in our experiences as we go through this. So we have March 2020. We have January 6th, 2021.
Oh, that was awful.
And we have now. So I want you to have those numbers. And I want you to have one assumption. We believe that we are in control. That is a false negative. We couldn't get up in the morning if we didn't believe that we have some sense of control. But a tragedy is when you're going along and you get smacked upside the head so hard, you just think you can't get up again. That's a tragedy, and we are being surrounded by them as we go forward. How we deal with them depends upon our resources that we have. If we have inadequate resources, like a lot of the people you're working with, they want to be able to light a fire. They want to be able to be in control, and they're not. So what I would like to do is talk about the stress response options. When we are stressed, do you know what you normally do? Are you the one who says, where is it? Let me get in there. Let me go knock that thing out of the way. Are you that person? Or are you that person who says, I got to go hide. I got to get out of here. I got to find safety. Do you have an answer? Who are you? What do you do? Do you know?
For me, myself, I definitely take action. There's this thing in my brain that says, better to do something than to sit here.
Yes.
However, this has really come to bite me in the butt sometimes. It has not always served me.
I know. So we don't look to the past for our solutions. We look to the present and we look to the future. Let's go back to your numbers for just a minute. If you said 2015, December, I don't remember. Anybody have that experience? I don't remember 2015. No, you all remember. Do you see any difference in your stress levels as you look from time to time to time? You know, 2015, you could have just lost your whole family in a tornado. And if you're sitting here and you're talking to me about 2015 was the worst year of my absolute life, and you didn't deal with that, then you have stress pile up. This trauma reminds you of that trauma, which reminds you of another trauma, which reminds you of another trauma, which reminds you of another trauma. How our brains work, if it's normal and everything is fine, we don't register it. We just say, la la, life is good. This is what we expect. This is what we want. Or this is what we're used to. It might not be paradise, but boy, I know how to do this. And then we get to a place where we don't. So any comments right now? Any questions so far in this? No? Is this relevant? Is this what you need to hear? You can just say yes or no. Is this good or do we? Okay. Stress response. We freeze, we flee, we fight, we divert, we deny, we destroy. You're causing me pain. I'm going to shoot you in the head. Endings. We make endings horrible. We have to say, that's all awful. That's all bad. You know, it depends on our stress level. It depends on what we do with it. If we think that the source of our stress is something that is being done to us, sometimes we're right. It is being done to us. We are the victim. So I want to show you March 2020. I attended a seminar for psychologists, and it was put on by Robert Niemeyer. It doesn't help you to see because it's backwards. Robert Niemeyer in Oregon, and it was on when grief goes viral. And Brian, can you show them, put the slides up?
Yes, happy to. One moment.
Thank you. This was when, no, I attended it in May. I attended it in May. Okay, go to the next one. And this was for licensed mental health professionals, continuing education. And they developed this scale that's looking at just one of the traumas that we're having right now, the coronavirus anxiety scale. And this is just telling the scientist how it's valid. This is the science behind the scale. Okay, Brian, go to the next one. So they were looking for symptoms of anxiety, the coronavirus anxiety scale. And they were looking at how many felt that learning about the coronavirus felt that their anxiety had increased. These are all at the bottom components of hopelessness, alcohol and drug use, suicidal thoughts. This all correlated their stress about coronavirus. Do you see the difference? Just from March, in 2 months, this is where people were a year ago next month, with their stresses already elevated this high. Go to the next one, Brian. In May last year, they told us the COVID-19 pandemic may lead to enormous loss of life. I mean, they're talking about millions. They're talking about the potential for disaster. Last May. So what do you do with that? Do you say, I'm going to deny this? This can't be happening. Grief. You get angry about it? Some people are stuck in that anger. Some people are stuck in that anger. Do you bargain? Do you grieve? Next one, Brian. the demography of death with 10% infection rate, 20% infection rate, 40% of infection rate, report that these models, this was April 2020, imply the potential for hundreds of thousands to millions. Okay, go to the next one, Brian. So here are the symptoms. And again, these symptoms are spelled out in terms of diagnostic categories, but you'll get the idea. I felt dizzy, lightheaded, or faint when I read or listened to any news about the coronavirus. Primary symptoms of panic attacks and an associated feature of generalized anxiety disorder. Any of you who have ever had a DSM diagnosis, you're probably going to see it here. But have you experienced dizziness? Go to the next one, Brian. Sleep disturbance. Last March, a year ago next month, elevated sleep disturbance. Go to the next one, Brian. You have these. Paralysis. I felt paralyzed or frozen. I have body immobility. And these are people who have had traumatic experiences before. And those are the ones where they didn't have the resources to deal with them effectively. They didn't finish up what they need to finish up, and they carry with them the little girl who didn't have the care that she needed, the little boy who was abused. Go to the next one, Brian. Appetite loss, or I'm going to eat everything in the fridge and you'd better lock it down. You better hurry up because I'm going to eat it and eat it and eat it. It's one or the other. Major depressive disorder, anxiety disorder. It's the body process of the blood leaving the digestive system. We are a system. And when we are tense, we need to calm ourselves. Go to the next one, Brian. Nausea. I can't stomach another thing. If one more thing happens, I think I'll puke. I can't stand it. Panic attacks. The blood leaves the digestive system. We're so uptight. Go ahead, Brian. Collateral damage of the coronavirus, pervasive social isolation, loneliness, enemy. I don't care if I live or die. I don't care. Staggering unemployments. You can read these. Every one of these is a pile up, a pile up, a pile up, a pile up. And if we don't recover, we just keep going on and our symptoms become more desperate. Brian? People have lost loved ones. People have been separated from loved ones. And unfinished business, anything you can do to help yourself or somebody else to finish business. People mourn a lost relationship due to stress, due to conflict, due to death, due to whatever. They mourn it. Anything you can do. And the unfinished business is typically, I wish I had, and I wish we could. I miss sharing. Okay, go to the next one, Brian.
This is actually the last slide that I had, Linda.
Yay, well, good. We're through that then. Okay. So, where are we? I'm now ready to just be with you guys for a few minutes. Let's see where we are. What did you learn about yourself in this? Any volunteer?
I have a slight complication in all that you said, in that a year ago I had my first TIA, and then I had another one in March or April, and that was last year. And so it's a progressive progressive thing. And excuse the blanks because I frequently can't remember what I'm saying.
Who's speaking? Can you raise your hand?
Yeah, I'm Shirley. I'm sorry.
Okay, Shirley, I couldn't see you. Yeah, okay.
And so I have been through all of this. I've been in recovery since, gosh, years.
Yeah.
Years. And so I've worked all of the way through to this day, and I'm still here getting information about me.
Yes.
So I'm not sure how I can separate the two, or do I need to? I don't know, because I'm...
See, okay, that's a very good point. And the thing is, when you are in the role of the volunteer helping other people, you need to turn off the mind chatter.
Yeah.
And I have some things to tell you about what you need to listen. And so Shirley, let's just, it's perfect that you said this, because this is the next thing that we talk about. What do you need to be a good listener?
Yeah.
What do you need? Well, you must be present focused, Shirley. You must be, I am here now. I am here now for you. I need to shut off the mind chatter. And let me tell you something else. I'll give Brian a copy of my notes today, so that if you want my notes from this talk that weren't included, you just ask Brian, give me a little bit of time to put them together and I'll give them to you. So don't worry so much about getting every bit of it. You must be present focus. You must shut off the mind chatter. You try to get yourself back when you're in the helping role to a zero, Shirley. You try to get yourself back to, I come to you with an open mind. I come to you, I have an ability to separate myself from you. And that's a skill as a helper that you really need to learn. And I do that by saying, this is another skill. I don't say it out loud to my clients, but I say it to myself. This is me. I'm sitting here and I will listen to you. I'm not going to go into my head and say, oh, that happened to me too. Oh God, you wouldn't believe that. No, we don't go back. We say, that is you. This is me. Right now, I am clearing the slates of everything that's going on with me. You have the problem right now. I don't have the problem right now. I have put my problem right over here on the shelf. This is business. This is me doing business with you. I am in a role. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Part of that, the difficulty.
I am here now. I am aware of my senses. I'm aware of what I can't see you very well, Shirley, but I can see John well and a few other people. And I am here for you. My task is to assure you in listening that you've been heard. I am receptive. I am calm. This is the position you need to get yourself into when you're serving as a volunteer. I left my needs at the door. I won't be abused. If you ask for my opinion, I might give it to you. And I'll set limits about what I will do and what I won't do. But I'm neutral. You need to be neutral. I'm not invested in a certain outcome. It is your problem. I will help you understand what your problem is, but I don't have any hidden agenda. I come in here, I'm not selling something. I'm not selling AA, I'm not selling the Discovery Cafe, I'm not selling the 10 Commandments. I'm here to listen. Now, here's a big thing. I am able to convey that I hear what you're saying to me, and I'm willing to explore that with you. And I'll give you all these notes if you want them.
Yes.
I must know what the other person wants from me. That's my end of the contract. That's what I bring to you, okay? Now, what do you want from me? Do you want me to fix it? Well, I'm not going to do that. It's not my problem. I can help you explore how you can fix it. And I can find out what's keeping you from fixing it. But I'm not going to agree that my role is to fix your problem. I will help her define what fixed looks like. If I were to fix it, how would you know that it was fixed? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to fix it. So how would you know? What would you look like if this were fixed? Well, the coronavirus would go to hell in a handbasket. And I could go eat wherever I wanted to eat. Well, that's not going to happen. That's not in the realm. That was then. This is now. We have to look for solutions now and going forward. Don't look to the past. Look for now and the future. Now, do you want me to tell you how stupid you are?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you want me to tell you how stupid you are?
Oh, that helps sometimes.
As helpers, we think that helps. Well, that's stupid. Well, whoever thought you would do something like that? Where was your head? What was the matter with you? No. You know, that doesn't feel good. That doesn't help if you do that. What I might do is say, okay, you want me to scold you? Teach me to scold you. Give me words. Give me words. What words would I use to scold you? What words would I use to tell you how stupid you are? Who used those words with you? Who told you that? I'm not telling you that. This is now. This is right now. Okay? So what happens to our ability to listen when, Shirley, I come back to you, when we have one stressor on another stressor on another stressor on another stressor and on another stressor? We come in there and we say, you think that's something? You haven't heard anything yet. You want to hear what happened to me? You know? That's okay to do with friends. That's okay to do with people you're close to. It's okay to do it when you're helping somebody, but not on a one-up kind of way. You want to be with. Your whole goal is to be one human being, I, thou, with the other person. Not the wise helper, but the one who's as vulnerable as you are and willing to be with you. So, you have to practice good self-care. You have to withdraw. You can't run from one thing to another thing, to another thing, to another thing, and expect to be a good listener. Get out in this beautiful world that we are in here in the Northwest. Walk when it's raining. Walk when it's snowing. Walk when it's, you find a practice for you. My practice this year is walking. I have every kind of rain gear imaginable, every kind of snow boot, every kind of everything. I am getting out there and I am listening to myself, not anybody else. What do I need? How can I comfort me? How can I be able to hear and be with? I'm through. Oh, for now.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sort of a comment that I've noticed in COVID and being in a 12-step recovery program, and when we're going through these traumas of late, there's so many different kinds of traumas. And one of the things that's always helped me in my recovery is being there for other people, that I can recognize what I'm going through. So if I deny it and not listen to me, I'm not going to really fully be there for other people because I'm just crowded out with my stuff. So I understand that I need to do my work first.
Yes.
But not exactly first. I needed to do it at the same time. And what I've noticed in recovery is that because we're locked up inside these rectangles, and I know that there was a couple of times. I know
what rectangle, Kat? What rectangle?
This one here.
Oh, okay, got it.
and I know that one time there was a close personal a friend who was in recovery that committed suicide, and the first thing I wanted to do was go to a meeting where I actually could see people, and I really ran to the cafe just like hoping that it was open, that the community can come together. I think that what I'm trying to get to is to get out of that victim and to get out of that hole is to be in community with others and to share and to listen. And that's been the biggest frustration. I'm sure that I'm not the only one here that has experienced it. Amazingly, the creative mind, we find ways you know, to get on the phone, to do these kinds of things, to take walks with others in safe distance. But it's like, we have to have that community. You know, there's that absolute need for connection. And I was wondering.
Well,
if you could
it's a
speak into that.
trauma of loss of community. I mean, you know, my phone, my landline, I check it for messages. I need to get rid of that thing. People aren't calling on my landline. You know, I mean, that was then. People aren't calling as much as they did because people get holed up. I totally agree, Kat. I totally agree. You know, may we find safe ways of being together. May we accept where we are and find safe ways of being together. This helps me. You know, I missed people. I've been so excited about this presentation today and being with you guys today. I haven't seen I haven't seen a group of people. So, yes, John.
Hi, yeah. Well, talking about the isolation of COVID and the technology today of video meetings and stuff, which I've been doing more and more of. But as a Vietnam vet, one of the things about the COVID isolation and just staying at home is somewhat of a comfort zone for me.
Isn't that wonderful?
I don't mind that as much as average people because of my experiences. And, you know, a lot of veterans take it to the extreme of going out and living in a tent in the woods.
Yes.
You know? I haven't gone, I don't go that far, but I do have that comfort level as a veteran of just not being around people.
Yeah.
And the reasoning behind that is that being around people and hearing negativity from them can cause, and these days can cause me a lot of anxiety.
You bet.
And fears that cause me to react in the fight-flight issue.
Yep.
It's difficult for me to, especially lately, take criticisms or somebody come down on me for whatever reason. I either have to make a fast decision about, am I going to stand up to this or am I going to have to leave? Because
there's a middle ground, John.
I know there is, but my problem today is I'm still dealing with the fallout from, you know, 5 years ago being diagnosed with cancers from Agent Orange. And
pile up.
Yeah, the pile up. Well, the biggest pile up was the treatment. Believe it or not.
I do believe it.
It set me off with the post-traumatic stress to a point which I had managed through my life very well with counseling, with certain drugs and all that, but the drugs no longer worked.
Yeah.
With the hormone treatment that they gave me to fight the cancer.
Yeah.
I've gone through 2 different rounds of changing medications on it. Changing medications is a horrible experience for this. And I'm still nowhere near where I was before it happened.
Yeah.
So my life has
Your
been
new normal.
Yeah, my new normal at age, whatever, 73, now 74. When, you know, I worked all my life and do have a good pension, and I've been retired since 08. But I'm not as able to enjoy this retirement as I had projected because of all of these things. And I just have difficulties interacting the way I used to. It's more work.
Well, let me tell you one thing, John. You are a bright presence on the screen. And I come back to your face often. I have not heard you in any way have trouble communicating with me. So that might be a story that you're telling yourself from the past. But today, you're just perfect.
Well,
Right
I've
there.
had a lot of practice, you might say,
Good for
but
you.
it's difficult. It's still difficult for me. I mean, I've gone into the grocery store with my wife and turned over and say, I got to get out of here. There's too many people.
Good for you. Good for you. Me
Yeah.
too.
But
I'm out of here.
yeah. But also, I used to enjoy political debates and stuff like that, but I can't do it today because it's going crazy. Number one. Number two, you know, I used to be pretty good at it, but you know, nobody's listening. And that's one of the reasons I also wanted to hear about this, because listening and listening skills, something I've practiced most of my work career for good reason.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it, John.
Yeah, and that's why one of the reasons I'm here. You know, there's such a lack of listening in this or the whole world, it seems like.
Okay, but right now, let's just
What's
look
going on
right
here?
now, right this minute, right here, this group, we are listening. We are here to listen. We are listening, John. I'm listening. Everybody here is listening, right? Are you chattering in your brain? You're listening. You're here with John. That's what we want, John. And you have to be willing to withdraw. John, I respect your willingness to withdraw. And there's a whole lot of your colleagues sitting around here who need to get more comfortable withdrawing, because we can't fill ourselves up until we withdraw. We cannot fill ourselves up until we withdraw. So hang in there, John. It's not what you wanted. The difference, distress, is the difference between our expectations and our reality. Radical acceptance, this is where I am right now in this time in my life. I look forward. Now, our mind, I want to go back to your numbers that you put down. And I would like this, tell me how we're doing with time, Brian.
We still have about 20 minutes before we'll want to wrap things up.
Oh, good. Do y'all feel okay with that? Okay. So, what was I saying?
You wanted to go back to our numbers.
To your numbers. Thank you, Brian. You were listening. I wasn't listening. Okay.
Just trying.
So, let's go back to your numbers. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear what you discovered about yourself with these numbers. Anybody see a big increase in stress? Just raise your hands if you did. If you saw a big increase in stress, okay. Did you see any downturn, any point where the stress started to go down, or are you still on an upward? Okay, Jill, tell me.
I guess I've come to a point where I'm finally used to all of this that's going on, the isolation. I'm reaching out to more people, get together, doing a little bit of volunteering again, a little bit. I'm just getting used to it.
You're
and I'm
accepting.
Yes, I am Buddhist, and there's this big thing about the suchness of this moment, and what can I do? I have to just accept it. So I'm finding peace with that.
No, you could go to the Capitol with
Hard to hear
guns. You can, did you lose me? You can go to the Capitol with guns and spears. No.
It's
That's
hard to
denial.
hear.
Do you hear? That's denial. That's anger. That's accepting of a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, January,
You are,
January
excuse me.
was hard on me. I felt invaded. Me, and I'm not even a happy American, but I felt, oh, I hated it. It was awful.
Yeah. Yeah. Pile up. Yeah. So you are adapting. You are saying, what can I do now to take care of myself?
Yes.
And to
Yes.
take care of other people, or to have contact with other people.
Yes. I also do a ton of walking, lots of walk in the
Well,
woods.
we need some kind of practice. Yeah, we need some kind of practice. It's meditation. You've got, all kinds of options.
Your voice is getting all, what's going on?
Yeah, your audio,
I
your
think
audio is cutting in and out a little bit, Linda, but I don't know if there's any adjustments you can make.
check the connection with it, because there might be something loose on your camera or whatever.
Oh God, I don't know how to do any of that. Who said that?
We'll just power through. That was John.
That was me. I'm a
Hey,
technician.
John, you said that? I don't know how to do that. If
Okay.
you lose me, you lose me, I think.
It sounds
Well, I
okay
think
now.
maybe if you come
Find
closer
out.
to the mic, you might be better.
Yeah, this is great now. Something
Okay.
I wanted to offer, which is just some of the challenges I bet a lot of folks can relate to in communication and listening, for me, at least in this last year. Yes, I'm really grateful that we can do this and we can do this safely, right? But the thing where there's like the meeting before the meeting and the meeting after the meeting, the really casual interactions that I really miss, that are helpful for bonding and connection, right? And then also in this forum, it's like we just experienced those audio issues, right? And we really can only have one person at a time. It's not, you can't do the quick joke or the little, quip that you might do in a casual conversation.
That was then, Brian. That was then.
True.
That was then. This is now.
Yeah. So
that was then.
So here's also now, that was what I was wanting to say too, is even the in-person interactions that we do have with folks, like there are the differences. And yes, I'm still coping with the changes, right? But when we do meet with people in person, then we have a mask and I can't always see the facial expressions. I've been interacting with folks who have trouble with their hearing, and they usually rely on lip reading to help augment, right? So this is just for me, these are the challenges that I, maybe you guys can relate to too, with like making listening tough, right? Oh, another thing on the cameras, right, is the camera is not the same place as my screen. And so we're always looking at something else, and the eye contact.
Oh,
anyway,
am I like that over here?
we all are, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well.
Because if I'm looking at that, then I can't see your facial reaction to it, So anyway, things I'm learning to accept, and I won't miss when they're gone.
Thank you. I know we won't miss so much. We will be so joyous. Just think about how joyous we will be. And we could get hit by a bus that same day. Again, control. We don't have control. We ride a horse. We go with the flow. We develop skills. We stay grounded. So I gave you handouts about what a trauma looks like. Can you hear me? What a trauma looks like and what the symptoms are of people who are traumatized. These apply to all of you, these handouts. These apply to all of the people you're working with. These apply to me. They apply to everybody. And it's how you can help people when they are involved with a trauma. I would like to share a book with you that my little company back in Northern Virginia put together after I was working with the Drug Enforcement Administration at the time as their chief psychologist and head of their employees assistance program. I told you I responded to 350 tragedies in a year. Well, one tragedy was Hurricane Andrew. Do y'all remember Hurricane Andrew? Okay, so Hurricane Andrew, and maybe Brian, could we just put me on as the picture right now so that I can share this book?
I believe so. One moment.
Okay. So we put this book together, Hurricane book, for the children's coloring book, for the children in the Miami-Dade field office of Florida. And this was to help them to understand what a trauma is.
Oh.
And these books are going to be available at Dove House, at the Recovery Cafe. So let me figure out my screen and everything to show you this. In the town or city where you live, or maybe we're just visiting, there was a hurricane. This kind of storm is called a disaster. A disaster makes a mess of everything. You see the mess? So these are pages for children to color. When a disaster happens, many people have different feelings. Some are upset or sad. Some people are afraid or scared. It's okay to feel afraid or scared. It's okay to feel sad. I'm saying this to every one of you. After being in a hurricane, you might have bad dreams. You might worry a lot. You may not feel very hungry, even for your favorite foods. You might even have stomach aches or your head might hurt. The important thing to remember is to talk to someone about how you feel. Find a friend, find somebody close. You could talk to mom or dad, or talk to a favorite teacher, or sometimes it helps to talk to a counselor. All of these tall people can be good listeners. They would help you with ideas about your feelings. Sorry about my turning acumen here.
That's empty.
On the page, oops, I think I went too far. Okay. On the pages that follow, draw some pictures that show what you remember about the hurricane. Now find a good tall listener and tell them about your drawings. Okay? So there are ways to help children. These will be available at the cafe. Brian has my permission to make hundreds of copies of them if you want them. And I encourage all of you to draw some pictures about this time in your lives, about what you remember. Okay.
Thank you so much for that, Linda.
Yeah.
We have about 10 minutes left, actually, which is perfect timing for us to kind of wrap up. I always like opening it up again, especially now that we've had the benefit of listening with Linda here. If anybody has any reflections or things that are on their mind that they might want to share as sort of parting thoughts, reflections, wisdom, we have a few minutes for you.
And Brian, you're big again, like I was. So maybe you need to get everybody's faces back. I don't know.
Yeah, so if people need to, in the upper right corner, you can click the view button and then hit gallery, and then you can see everyone about the same size.
I can't.
That's right. We just got a few minutes left. I do want to open it up though, if anybody has any thoughts they'd like to share.
I'd like to thank Linda, not only for coming and helping us just by her wonderful words, but also she nailed me and I love it. And I also love it that I'm willing to say, what? Me? No. In front of other people, because I've been, in and out of this for a long time, but not ever professionally. And so just to talk to a bunch of friends and hear what I needed to hear exactly.
Good.
I appreciate that so very much.
I am so glad. Yes.
For me, I was feeling a little scared about ever showing up at the Recovery Cafe and listening. And this really was breakthrough for me. And Linda's reference to the severe traumas of and children was very helpful for me. So I might like to talk to the kids, because I have kids that got lost in a incident, and it was just very, very hard to bring them back. So
I have resources for you. I have resources for you. Yeah.
I don't have any grandchildren either, so it might really be fun.
Wouldn't it?
Today. So thank you. I'll be in touch.
Good.
Linda, are you okay if I share your contact information with the group afterward?
No.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm willing to work through you, Brian.
That is totally fine.
Yes, because I have clients. I have a full life, and yeah. No. Yeah.
No problem.
Boundary. That's a boundary, you guys. Feel free to set them for yourselves anytime you need to. No.
Are there any other thoughts or reflections that folks had at the end of the training today?
I'd like to thank Linda for all of the information and her presentation. It's been great. Some of it was familiar, a lot of it was new, but the approach and the fact that just the way you presented it was great. And I'd also like to say to John that I really appreciate your vulnerability in sharing today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, I think I'll say thank you again to Linda for facilitating our training this month. Thank you all for participating. And I will be sharing this recording as soon as I can get it posted and everything. Next month's training is, I'm looking at the calendar here, it is Friday, March 19th. The topic is crisis management and de-escalation. It'll be taught by Judd Haynes, who is the mental health navigator who works with the Port Townsend Police Department. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope that you guys can join us. If you miss it, we will record that one as well and post it on our website. So for now, I will bless and release you guys, say thank you again, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
Brian.
Nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Great.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.